What's going on? It's yours truly, Mr.Taliaferro. Game 3, Game 3, Game 3. I had to say it 3 times for dramatic effect as the Golden State Warriors regain home court advantage in Game 2. They take this thing back to Oracle for maybe the last go-around. Maybe that was the last trip to Oracle. They got the next 2 there. And as of right now, we don't know if the Warriors will ever play another game. After Game 4 in Oracle Arena, we will see how this series plays out. One would assume this will be a 6 or 7 game series, but you can never be too sure. Moments before the game, Klay Thompson was ruled out for Game 3. Sean Livingston will get the start in his place. So no Kevin Durant, no Klay Thompson. DeMarcus Cousins is still injured. He'll give it a go. You know you get a heavy dose of Steph Curry, and that's what you got. Warriors-Raptors Game 3. Out the gate, Steph Curry with the offensive rebound. He gets to his spot and drills the 2 over Kyle Lowry. More Steph. You knew Steph was just going to take any little glint of space he got. You knew he was going to let it go in Game 3 as this Warriors team is depleted via injury. Also, Kevin Looney is out for the remainder of the playoffs. The Raptors took advantage of the Warriors' deficiencies. Everybody gave it to this Warriors team. You saw Pascal Siakam, you saw Danny Green shoot 3, then you saw Marc Gasol get inside and score over Cousins. They battled early. Now you got Kawhi Leonard joining the action with a nice little 2 there off the rebound. Siakam, beautiful pass inside to Marc Gasol. It was Steph Curry by himself trying to take on the entire starting 5 for the Toronto Raptors. Advantage Toronto. Steph did everything he could though. It was the 3-pointer early. Then he started facilitating. Nice pass there to McKinney, who's getting big-time minutes. And then another beautiful pass from Steph Curry here off the miss from Kawhi Leonard. Right on the money to Quinn Cook, who's coming up big for the Warriors. Not big enough, but he drilled a 2 there. And Steph Curry, as the quarter ends, a deep 3. And somehow, someway, with all that being said, Warriors go into the second frame only down 4. But every time, and I mean every time, the theme of this basketball game, every time the Warriors made a run, got it somewhere manageable, the Raptors would make a big shot. Every time. A 3 there from Kyle Lowry. Now Steph on the other end, wheeling and dealing. Somehow getting the 3 to go. Boy, was he amazing in this game. We'll talk more about Steph Curry soon as he got up 31 shots in this basketball game. That's a postseason high for him this year. Siakam looking, finding Ibaka. Ibaka would swing that thing around to Lowry. Raptors would go up 8 at the half. Third quarter, the Warriors would come out swinging again. They get it down to 7. But like I said earlier, every time the Warriors made a run, the Raptors had an answer. A 3 there from Kawhi Leonard. Now Kyle Lowry out of the corner. He had 5 3-pointers in his basketball game, 23 points for him. As a matter of fact, the entire starting 5 for the Raptors was phenomenal, all in double digits. Steph Curry doing his best, getting the rebound and drilling a 3. Tough 3-pointer from Steph, but he was going against an entire team as Fred VanVleet drills a 3. And as we get towards the end of the third, Danny Green got hot as a campfire, had 6 field goals in this game. All 6 were 3-pointers. Kawhi finding a hot hand. Danny Green, back-to-back 3-pointers from a guy who pretty much won a championship by himself for the San Antonio Spurs a few years back versus Miami. Danny Green, another tough 3 as the third quarter ends. 16-point game for the Raptors. We head to the fourth quarter. Bad pass from Danny Green. Fred VanVleet right on the money to Siakam, who had 18 points, most of it coming in the first half. Now Lowry, getting space. Timely baskets from Lowry. Now Kawhi, who had 30 points himself, closing this thing out with a beautiful pass to VanVleet somehow, some way, and he makes this rainbow jumper. And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, final score 123-109. The Toronto Raptors take a 2-1 series advantage as Steph Curry goes for a playoff high 47 points. But it's in a losing effort as he had 47, but did not get enough help from his Warrior teammates. All of the minuses for the Warriors were pretty much bad from anybody that got significant minutes. DeMarcus Cousins only gave me 19 minutes. He did leave the game early. 1 for 7 from the field, 4 points. He was not good. His body did not look good. We know he's giving it everything he's got to even play in the finals after that rough injury that he did have. First in the regular season, year before last, and then obviously this regular season he got injured, and in the playoffs he got injured, and then, I mean, he's just willing himself back into game shape, and it's just not the greatest of times to try to get in basketball shape in the NBA Finals, and he's not the greatest athlete to begin with. So I don't know what's his status for game 4. A lot of guys' status for game 4 is going to be up in the air. I'm hearing that Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant will try to give it a go, but let's focus on this game. Draymond Green gave me 17, not an effective 17. It took him 14 shots. That's entirely too many shots for Green. Iguodala, 11 points, not good enough. Livingston, 4 points, not good enough on 17 minutes. Steve Kerr just really had to go throughout his rotation. 9 points from Quinn Cook, 27 minutes, so I need more than 9 points in 27 minutes. Bogut gave me 22 minutes, most of it in the second half. 6 points, 7 rebounds. He was pretty good. But other than that, not a lot. I think the biggest thing was that the Warriors didn't have any floor spaces on the court. So to me, the Raptors played poorly defensively in the first half on Steph Curry. But I'm guessing Nick Nurse, the head coach of the Raptors, finally said the right things to his Toronto Raptors team at halftime. And they finally locked in on Steph Curry in the third quarter. And the entire second half, pretty much, it was tough for Steph to get that momentum back. He didn't make shots, but it wasn't as frequent as he did in the first half. Also, I want to believe Steph Curry just got tired. I mean, he was working incredibly hard. Now, I see the memes are all over the internet. Now you know how LeBron feels, Steph Curry. Like, he worked incredibly hard tonight. He was active on the ground. I feel like he was their best hustler as well. Tracking down rebounds, getting on the ground for loose balls. He was phenomenal. And then 47 points. I mean, how can you scarf over 47 points? He was amazing. To me, I look at it like he had his game 1 game. Remember LeBron last year versus the Warriors? Game 1, he goes for 51 points, but the Cavs lose. I think that's what Steph Curry had tonight. Great numbers from him, but we'll kind of forget this one in the mix because his team did not win his basketball game. This game was set on a silver platter for Steph Curry to be phenomenal, and he was. But it's going to have a little bit of eggshell on it because his team did not win this basketball game. I thought the Raptors really zoned in on Steph Curry defensively in the second half and made him work for everything he got. And that was the difference. Look, bottom line is you could nitpick at this basketball game and say the Warriors defense wasn't good enough. The Raptors got good shots. The Raptors defense was superb in the second half. You could talk about the fact that the Raptors did make a lot of shots. 11 three-pointers combined between Danny Green and Kyle Lowry. Kawhi Leonard was his normal efficient self again. He had been inefficient for most of the last 2 rounds, but he gives me 30 points tonight, and he does it on an efficient 17 shots, 9 of 17 from the field, so over 50% for Kawhi Leonard, 10 of 11 from the line. I get 18 from Siakam, 30 from Leonard, 17 from Mark, 23 from Lowry, and then 18 from Danny Green, and Fred VanVleet off the bench gives me 11. Yeah, that's a recipe for success if you're a Toronto Raptors fan out there, if you're Drake or that fan base. Yeah, that was a great performance by the Raptors, but let's make it clear. This series comes down to one thing. Everything in this basketball game was affected by the fact that the Warriors are missing 2 very, very good guys that are both ironically soon to be free agents in Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant. I said this earlier. I'm hearing that both of these guys are going to be ready to go for Game 4 Friday. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I don't know what Kevin Durant has in the tank, but I would tend to believe Klay Thompson will be close to 100%. Klay was about ready to give it a go tonight in Game 3, but the Warriors training staff said no last minute. He was literally a game time decision up until like the moments before the game started, but that Warriors training staff was like, nah, bro, we got Game 4 to think about. So I'm looking at how the Warriors are playing it. It looks like they traded in Game 3 and said, look, we don't want to have Klay or KD injure themselves anymore. Let's give it a couple more days. Game 4, we'll have 4, 5, 6, and if we need 7 to win this series, we'll play the long game. We'll rest our guys for a few more days, and then we got 2 of the game's greatest scorers, shooters, and all that in between that will likely be ready to go come Friday. I mean, this makes this series oh so more tasty and exciting. Congratulations to the Toronto Raptors. They are now 2 games away from their franchise's first NBA championship. What you think about this game? Y'all talk to me in the comment box below. What was the difference in this basketball game for you? To me, it was simply the health of the Golden State Warriors. They are running out of bodies. And that team was not constructed to have injuries to 2 top-tier guys. Just being honest. That Warriors team, maybe they could lose 1 guy, but to lose 2 guys, that puts that bench all out of sorts. I believe a lot of those guys are on that Warriors team to be cheerleaders and never thought they would be needed in meaningful minutes in the postseason. And a lot of these guys are shocked. I think Quinn Cook's ready for the moment, but outside of him, McKinney looks a little bit like this moment is too big. I think Andrew Bogut, who's a veteran in this league, I think he signed with that Warriors team thinking this would be a cupcake and he wouldn't play much. But you look up, DeMarcus Cousins is hurt, Looney is hurt and done for the rest of the playoffs, and now all of a sudden you're calling on Andrew Bogut. A guy who got drafted, when did he get drafted? Number 1 in 2004, right after LeBron. He has nothing left, pretty much. And now he's expected to play big minutes. I mean, this Warriors team had some guys that never expected to play big-time minutes. I think Sean Livingston was like, look, I'm just here to collect 1 more ring before I get on out of here. Iguodala's like, damn, y'all want me to go out and get 20 a night? Like, this Warriors team needs their health. That's really what it comes down to. If they don't get healthy, they don't have a good chance at winning this series. If the Raptors can get 1 more game without Kevin Durant, I think they can steal game 3. If KD and Klay are there, I'm picking the Raptors to win because I'm picking the Warriors to win. I did pick the Warriors to win this series in 6, and I've picked every game right thus far. I said Raptors will win game 1, Warriors will win game 2. I said tonight Raptors would win game 3, and I said the Raptors would not win another game in this series. And the Warriors win in 6 on their home court. We'll see if that happens. I thank you guys so much for the time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out.
I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
Got the kids, they
You are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
Mr.Taliaferro.
Mr.Taliaferro. Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You watching Mr.Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.